So what if you had a smart bird feeder with 2 cameras? Well, that's exactly what we're going to review today. This smart bird feeder has 2 cameras and 2 feeding areas by LNDU. LNDU. So you know the drill. We're gonna get everything unboxed. We're gonna get this thing put together. We're gonna get it connected to the app. And then we're gonna get some birds. So let's get this thing open here. Oh yeah, look at that roof with the solar panel on there. I love it. All right, so we have instructions here, and I love it when they include a QR code. It makes everything easier. Have the instruction booklet. I know no one reads these. So we have the 2 perches for each side of the feeder, and we have the actual feeder here. And this looks really good. I love this. 2-sided, got camera each side here, which I think is great. A lot of times, especially with a smart bird feeder, when they're out in your yard, a lot of times you can't see the other side because there's obviously nothing to feed on from the other side. So when you're looking at it, you might not see birds from one side. I like this that you can turn it to the side, and you're going to be able to see in your yard on both sides. So a few other things here. It looks like we have a removable battery, which is very nice. And it looks like it has a charging port, a USB-C charging port, which is awesome for your batteries. We have the tray for the feeder, and this thing is big. I love this. This is going to be great if you have bigger birds. Blue jays, cardinals, larger birds. So this is very similar to basically a hopper style feeder or even a platform style feeder. But the best news is it has a camera on there so you can get footage of birds while you're doing it. And then lastly, we have some of the accessories and mounting options that come with this. So let's go over. So one of the other things they have, a lot of these smart bird feeders nowadays are adding some accessories. They go on the perch, and this is a hummingbird feeder, and this will just go on the end of the perch. I love these. It's just kind of an extra added thing that you can add to your smart bird feeders. The other thing that they add are these fruit spikes. I'm a big proponent of adding fruit to your bird feeders, so this is perfect. You can throw some orange halves on there, apples, or some other fruits that birds love. And finally, they include all the different mounting options that you can use. So they have a couple different mounting options here. They do have these plates. I do like the plates. These are very helpful. If you have a post or even a pole that you're using, you can use these on there. I really like these washer and dryer clamps here. I've used these on multiple videos, especially for smart bird feeders. I think they're great. They work perfectly just because smart bird feeders have to be held from the side and they typically don't hang. So I do love the clamps for the washer and dryer for smart bird feeders. Finally, the option that they always give is this can just wrap around a tree. I do not like this option for most smart bird feeders, and that is strictly because of squirrels, nothing else. If you don't have issues with squirrels, you can go ahead and use this, but I've yet to find an area that isn't bombarded by squirrels, so I try to avoid the tree. So now that we have everything unboxed, let's put the feeder together and get this all set up here. So first thing, you always want to peel off the plastic, obviously for the camera's sake and for bird's sake. So go ahead and peel off all the plastic on here. There is, don't let your camera fall out of your bird feeder. It does. So camera does come out of the feeder, so just be careful there. But there are a little bit extra pieces of plastic for you to peel off on here, especially on the camera here. So go ahead and just peel all these little pieces off of your cameras here. We have the camera here, and we're gonna slide it back in to the feeder there. Next, we're going to grab our tray. This is gonna sit right down in this tray here. So to attach the base to the feeder, actually, there is 4 points on the bottom here, and we're gonna take 4 screws. I already started 2 of them in here, and basically once we tighten this up, it's going to connect the actual feeder part to this platform that we're going to be putting up. So now those are all in place, and the feeder is now attached to the platform. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to attach the camera to the inside of the feeder here. And so what you want to do is you want to get it lined up You can see where the cord is going to plug in right here. So it's going to basically sit right in there. And then on the very bottom, using one of the same screws that we just used for the sides, you're going to screw the camera into the bottom. And now it won't be able to fall out of the feeder. Next, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put on the roof here. So the roof does go to a particular way. So you can see that each of these brackets on the back side, do make sure that when you are putting this in, that the cord goes down in. And then basically once you line it up with these sides, it basically, as I'm struggling here, but once it's lined up, it does basically go straight on, and then you can just lift it up to feed it there and you can set it right back down. So once you do get the roof hinge in place, there are two little screws, and these are actually little pointy screws and not bolts. So just be careful there. They do actually screw into right where the roof goes. And this just helps to, when you're feeding it, it allows it to pop up, but then it's not going to come off and you can put it right back in place. Then one of the last things that we need to do here is we need to insert the battery. So there is just this little piece that flaps down. There is an on-off switch in here. So I'm going to turn it off for now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop this battery in here. One last step that we are going to do here, we are going to add these perches on the front of the feeder here. Yeah, so they do just pop right in. You don't need to use any screws on here, but basically these will just pop right in. You should be able to line it up with the holes here, and there we have it. Perch popped right in. All right, so the feeder is all together now. We have the perches on here. I am waiting to put like the hummingbird feeder and the fruit spikes on here until we get the feeder set up. One thing that we need to do here is we need to go ahead and plug in our camera. So there is just a little hinge in here, a little plastic hinge that we're going to pop up where the charger goes, and now it is all plugged in. I'm going to turn this around and we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna turn it on. Let's see what happens. I heard a click, so we should have something there. Ah, there we go. Hello, there we go. All right, so now we have this all set up. The next thing that I like to do is I like to get it connected to the Wi-Fi, connected to the app, so we can see the camera, and then we're gonna go ahead and mount it, fill it, and get the birds. So if you didn't throw your instruction booklet away just yet, one of the things that I do love is a lot of these instruction booklets have a QR code. This will download the app directly. They do have it on the Play Store for Android and also the Apple Store for Apple, but I love just being able to take a picture and then I can just get it straight on my phone right here. So let's go ahead. We're going to switch to photo here, and we're going to go ahead, scan QR code. All right, it's going to take us to the LNDU website. So this actually has an installation video. Oh, I apologize. There's multiple QR codes in here. So let's go ahead and we're gonna scan the right one up here. Up top, this is the top one, is where we go to the App Store. All right, so now this is going to take us to the App Store. We have an Android, so we're going to Android install this. So let's go ahead and install it. So we're downloading the app and we're gonna go through the process here. All right, so we have to accept the terms. All right, let's go ahead. So we do not have a login. I do use multiple different smart bird feeders. Some do use the same app. This is a new app for me. So if it is a new app, you will need to create an account with an email. Once they give you a verification code, then you'll be able to sign in and get into the app. So let's go ahead and register now. Gonna go ahead and register. All right, now we're waiting for the verification email here. All right, there's our email, and enter our verification code there. Now we're going to log in with the login that we just created. So one of the first things when you log in is it's going to ask you to send you notifications. This is something that you always want to get. This is the real-time birds when they show up to your bird feeder. So if you'd like to see them as they visit your feeder, make sure that you do the notifications, and when you see a bird come in, check them out. All right, so you do need to authorize Bluetooth scanning. All right, so we're going to go ahead And we're going to add this device. So we're going to add a device here. It is scanning manually. Typically, you're going to need to hit a button in here to start it. It is not prompting me. Let me see if I can.
Restore factory settings.
Oh, if you hold it down, you restore the factory settings. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down here. It actually has the Bird Feeder Duo. It is on. So now once I pick that, there it goes. Now it found the camera when I went down and picked that specific one. All right, so next, then you're going to enter your Wi-Fi information. You're going to get it on the Wi-Fi so that you can access it through your camera.
Connecting the Wi-Fi.
And there it goes. It is now connected to the Wi-Fi. And in just a second here, it should pull up a camera view.
Connect to the Wi-Fi successful.
All right, so we are now connected to our Wi-Fi. And one of the first things that you have here is you can actually name your device. I like the Bird Feeder Duo, so I'm just going to name it that. And we're going to hit confirm. So the device was added successfully. So if we go here, let's go through a couple of these, hit done. So let's go to a and there we have it. Wow, that's a really good view. So we have, that is awesome. I mean, look at that. That is 2 cameras. So you are seeing me and seeing the camera that is filming me right now. So that is awesome. That is really cool. You're gonna be able to see both sides. So this is great. So now we have the camera all set up. It's all connected to our app. You can see this, we have it going. So next, let's go ahead and mount this. Let's get some birds. Now we're ready to mount the feeder. Now, one of the little pre-steps that you need to take on the bottom of this feeder, there is a big bracket that you need to attach to it. And so basically you'll have the same 4 bolts and you'll attach this piece, and this is actually what's going to hold the feeder to whatever you're going to attach it to. Now, once you get that completed and you decide what you're going to attach it to, you're going to be ready for the next step. Now, like I said before, I'm going to be using a bird feeder pole or a bird house pole, and this is a typical 1-inch bird feeder pole that I'm going to be using, and then I'm going to be using these hose clamps, and there's another little bracket that the other bracket fits into. So basically we're going to take this hose clamp, we're going to thread it through this little clamp here, and then we're going to attach it to our pole. Basically what we're going to do, you're basically going to twist this little clamp to where the side piece comes open here, and we're actually going to thread it through here, and I basically go up and through, and then it's going to wrap around this pole just like this and make sure that the prongs are to the top. And for me, I'm going to put it about halfway up this post here, just above this squirrel baffle. And we're going to keep twisting it here until it goes all the way against the pole. All right, so make sure that we get this thing nice and tight and that this piece is nice and straight. And I think that is pretty tight there. I might pull this down a little bit. And I think that is pretty good. So let's go ahead and test this out. And there we go. That hangs right there on the pole. Now, if you are using a pole, depending on where your house is, you do want to set this to where you can see it from all sides. But like I said, this is the great thing about having 2 cameras. Typically, if I'm on this side of the house, Smart Bird Feeder, I'll be seeing the back side of the bird feeder instead of actually where the birds are. This is great because I have it on both sides. The house is sitting over here, and I'll be able to see birds on both sides. So next, now we're gonna go ahead and fill the bird feeder and get this all set up and get some birds. So now that we got the feeder up and we're now attracting birds, let's go over the application on the phone and how to go through, how to see your videos and how to see everything and how to set it up correctly. That way that you get the best images and the best experience with your Smart Bird Feeder. So if we open our app, we're going to find on the very home page, this is kind of the overall layout of the app and where we're going to go. So you can see right here on my home screen, I have the Bird Feeder Duo, and I'm gonna go ahead and I can see how much battery life is on. I can also see that it is connected to the Wi-Fi. So once we click on the Bird Feeder Duo, it's going to bring up an image of the live shot of the camera. I have found that it is typically on one side of the camera. I'm not sure what helps it determine that. But then underneath that, you're going to see wonderful moments. And what the wonderful moments are, this is basically anytime that a bird shows up and you get the automatic motion detection where it starts a video, that's what you're going to see in these areas here. So if you look below the main one there, you can basically see all the times that birds have come to the feeder on either side. That's what I love about this feeder, the fact that you have two different sides and you might have a different bird on the other side. So this basically shows the different moments, and it does go each side, so it has the different sides on there, and it basically just anything that comes up to the feeder where it starts recording, it's going to show in these wonderful moments parts. So let's go ahead and go up to the real-time preview. We're going to go ahead and press play on there. And when we do that, what it's going to do, it's going to bring up both cameras on each side of the Smart Bird Feeder. So there you go, you can see that. Currently there are no birds at the bird feeder, but basically this is just your overall view of both sides of the feeder. Now within this, there are a couple different options that you can do. If you see the scissors and you click on the scissors there, that takes a picture, and it depends on which camera that you click it on. So if I click it on this bottom camera and I press the scissors, it's going to take a screenshot of that particular camera on that side of the feeder. All right, now so the next option over is the video camera, and just like you're probably expecting, when you hit video, it's going to start a video on that camera. So if I have a bird on that side of the camera and I hit the camera button, it's going to record that side of the camera, and I don't have to worry about the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop that. Now, you can see where it says go to album, and I'm gonna go ahead and go to the album, and this is where I have downloaded videos. So once you download those videos, you will have them on your phone. You are able to share them with friends, family. You can also take them into a video editing application like CapCut and cut them vertically, this way that you can share them to social media. But that's basically how you get a photo and video from the feeder itself, and that way you can share that with friends. Now, the next option on here is basically a bird with a little square around it, and this is how to unlock their AI service. Now, most smart bird feeders have AI bird identification recognition, and this basically means that when the bird shows up to the smart bird feeder, it will identify the bird for you. Now, I will tell you, and I always give this disclaimer talking about any smart bird feeders, I've had a lot of different smart bird feeders, and it is still in infancy of trying to identify birds at feeders. Coming from the world of bird watching, I have known experts in the field who have made mistakes, and just like that, a computer system is no different. So, you know, if you are using the AI system, just know that there are going to be some issues where they're misidentification or misidentify certain species. That is completely okay. That is part of the way the system works. You just continue to tell it what the right species is if you know it, and this will help continue building the AI's capabilities. So now when we're talking about the premium service, I'd like to quickly go over the premium service that they offer for this smart bird feeder. Now, most companies do offer a premium service, and it does add a lot of stuff that is very helpful. Now, you can use the bird feeder itself or the smart bird feeder without having a subscription service. You can just use it as is, to where you can grab your photos, you can grab your videos, and you can also have it to where the motion detection will get videos as they come to the feeder. If you want to move into premium services with the smart bird feeder, you will need to sign up for their membership, their premium benefits. So what does that include if you sign up for their premium membership? Well, the member benefits include AI generated bird watching vlogs. Like I was saying earlier, it does have the AI AI bird detection and recognition. You do get 30-day event storage. So as it is now, you can only go back a few days. With the premium service, you can go back 30 days. So that means that 20 days ago, you had a rose-breasted grosbeak show up at your feeder. You can go back and still download that video. If you didn't have the premium service, you wouldn't be able to recover that if you didn't download it right away. It also gives you a bird library, and this is essentially like a life list. It basically takes all the birds that you've seen from this bird feeder and basically makes a list of it, and that way you know what birds have shown up to your feeder. It also gives you slow motion playback, so it records it in a way that you can play it back in slow motion if that's something that you're into. So those are just the premium features, and this will kind of just give you, if you look here, this will kind of give you an idea of what you'll have free versus the premium service. So as I was saying before, the event cloud storage, and this is where it automatically takes the video of the bird as it comes to the feeder. You only are able to go back 7 days with the free service. With the premium service, you can go back 30 days. With the event cloud storage, 20 gig across the board. And then where it starts to change a little bit, as you can see, adding the bird identification card. This basically has information about each bird that shows up to your feeder. They have the AI birding vlog, bird notifications. So those are all ones that if you are looking to do that, you can only get them in the premium service, and that's what the premium service gets you. So a couple more things on this home page when we're at the live feeder here. If you look here, the 2 arrows, basically what this will be is it'll just bring up just that feeder to where it fills your frame there. And then if we go back into this again, and in the far right here, there's a little button, and that just basically turns it so it shows it horizontal so you can see it filling the frame. Now, a couple other options on here. When you actually go to the live feed of what it's doing here, if you see this button in the middle, you can actually hold that, and that means that you can actually talk to the feeder. Now, for most times, this isn't something that you're going to use, but if for some reason that you wanted to try to get a squirrel off and you wanted to try to talk to it, that would be how you would do it. Now, speaking of squirrels, there is an alarm on here, and this is just to deter them if they are on the feeder, and that is right next to the microphone button. And if you can hit confirm, and you can actually probably hear it behind me right now going off. It's not super loud. It looks like it goes off for about 25 seconds. I am able to immediately turn it off. It's not something that I use a lot, I'll be honest with you. Usually when I have a squirrel on my feeder, they don't listen to a lot of stuff, especially these alarms. But it is something there if you are dealing with squirrels that you'd like to utilize, you can. And then finally, over there to the right, if you can look right now, this is the live feeder. So I have a couple house finches that are currently on the feeder right now, and that's what you're seeing in that video. And then finally in the far right, this is just basically your notifications of what showed up to your feeder. So it'll bring up basically that history, and this will show you anytime a bird is detected, and it'll show you which bird showed up, and that way you can go directly just to try to see what has shown up at your feeder. Now that we went through that, let's go through the settings here. So if you're back on the home screen, in the bottom right, you can see that there's settings right down here. And these are the device settings. There's a couple different options that we can choose. If you look right here, the motion detection here, I have changed mine to high. I did notice at the medium level, it wasn't capturing every single bird, especially like small birds, like some of the finches. So I did change the motion detection to high. Now I will throw a disclaimer in here. Obviously, with a higher motion detection, your battery life is going to deplete much quicker. So just keep that in mind when you're using that. All right, so going down to the video settings here. So the first one, you don't really need to worry about it. The night vision mode, I always put that at automatic. You can add a logo watermark, and this just has their logo on the video. And you can also have a time watermark, and this just basically tells it a timestamp exactly when it is. This can be beneficial for certain things if you're trying to figure out, time of day, time of year, those type of things, but I don't actually click those. I don't actually need those on my video. You can also deal with the audio settings. So if you find that the speaker on the audio is too high, you can go to the audio settings here and turn that down. There is also a power saving mode. This essentially sets it to sleep at certain times. So the way that I have it set up is basically at 2200 hours, 10 o'clock at night, I have this at 4 hours to basically sleep for 4 hours. This conserves the battery life. I'm not getting anything that's showing up at my feeder in the middle of the night here, so I don't need to get that footage in the middle of the night. So that's just something if you would like to use that. And then finally, at the very bottom, you can check for firmware updates on the device or the application. I do always like to check this just in case. If they do have a new firmware update that, you know, fixes something, I always like to make sure that I'm checking it. So that is basically it in a nutshell, going over the applications. And I think the application works great, specifically because this feeder has 2 cameras where most of them only have one or one side of the feeder. And I think it works perfectly. So I think the app works and I love it. So after using this smart bird feeder for a few weeks, I'm very impressed with it. And I love the features that it has that is totally different than some of the other smart bird feeders that I've used in the past. I absolutely love the fact that this has 2 cameras and 2 sides of the feeder. Smart bird feeders are typically like this hopper style bird feeder, but the way that they're set up, you can only see them from one direction. And if you have them out in your yard and you're in the side of the yard where you're only seeing the back side of the feeder, it just isn't as good or as nice as what the LNDU has, and having the ability to basically see the feeder from both sides. And I love the fact that it has 2 sides to this feeder. The other thing that I really like about this feeder is the fact that it holds a lot of bird seed. This is great for this type of feeder, as it's very good to kind of set it out in your yard. You don't have to worry about it as much as like a smaller tube type of feeder. You can kind of leave it out in your yard and just kind of let your birds do your thing. The other thing that I love about this is that it adds the additional food options to the perch. Just being able to have the hummingbird feeder or the fruit spikes on there and being able to add orange slices or orange halves to the side of the feeder just makes it good, because I always like to be able to add or offer extra food to be able to attract different bird species. I'd really like to thank LNDU for sending me this smart bird feeder and for letting me review it. I highly recommend this smart bird feeder, and I'm going to leave a link below, and that way you can check it out for yourself. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos just like this, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and get out and get birding.